The Buffalo Bills are coming off their best season in nearly 3 decades and fell just 1 game shy of reaching the Super Bowl. But considering how the AFC Championship played out in Arrowhead, they still have some work to do if they're going to overtake the Chiefs atop the conference. But make no mistake, this is a team well positioned to compete for the years to come due to the evolution of now superstar quarterback Josh Allen. Adding all-pro wideout Stefon Diggs to the roster last offseason with just what the doctor ordered for Allen, he took a big leap forward in year 3.
I'm focused on being the best version of myself, being the best quarterback, the best leader that I can be for this team from day in and day out.
Their defense, however, was around the middle of the pack in 2020. They didn't have anyone who posted more than 5 sacks, so in the draft, they fixed their focus right there, selecting pass rushers Gregory Rousseau and Carlos Basham Jr. in rounds 1 and 2. In free agency, the franchise mostly concentrated on retaining core players. They also did bring in wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders on a 1-year deal to perhaps take some attention away from #1 option Stefon Diggs. But will that be enough to push them past the Chiefs and other contenders in the AFC? An early season clash at Arrowhead looms in Week 5.
It's an exciting time to be part of Bills Mafia. Let's welcome in our Evan Washburn. They're live at Bills training camp, so of course they're coming off their first preseason game on Friday, a win against the Lions, back to practice this weekend. So how are things looking out there today, Evan, as they get ready for the Bears on Saturday?
It was a good day to be out here, Amanda. They were in full pads. They got work in yesterday, but you got to see some team periods. Josh Allen still making plays, finding Cole Beasley in the slot. This defense, this improved defense, getting after that offensive line that comes into this season finally healthy for the most part. So this is a team that find themselves at the heart of the preseason, just trying to stack days, getting ready for a massive Week 1 game against the Steelers.
I know that you spoke with Josh Allen just a little bit ago, and I'm curious because he didn't play against the Lions, and I know he told the media earlier he's not entirely sure if he is going to play this weekend against the Bears. So what can you tell us about that, and then maybe any other takeaways from what he said?
Well, when it comes to the preseason, it's really starting to trend, Amanda, towards top-tier players not really taking part in these games. And it's out of safety, #1. But whether it's joint practices or some of the work they get out here on the practice field, they feel like they get the reps necessary to be ready for Week 1. But Josh Allen's a guy that likes to play, and he made that clear at the podium today when we were speaking after practice. And he also likes to kind of get hit a little bit, to wake up the next day and have that post-game soreness that's definitely going to come Week 1. But you have to imagine, based off of what they've invested in Josh Allen and what they have set for this season in terms of this roster, that why take unnecessary risk? They also have a deep quarterback room that they need to evaluate.
Stefon Diggs entering his 2nd season with the Bills. He had a great first season with them, led the NFL in receiving yards. He is the betting favorite as of now to do it again. He has not been at practice recently, though. Why is that, Evan?
He's dealing with a knee injury that, as Sean McDermott said yesterday, at this point isn't something they're worried will be lingering into the season. But after you miss a few days of practice, the concern level definitely goes up. And Stefon Diggs is a player that has shown to be as consistent and productive as any in the league. And he's played through injury, the tail end of last year, dealing with that groin injury. So, look, at this point, as Sean McDermott said, it doesn't seem to be a real concern, but it could be something that he has to manage throughout the year. But he's shown the ability to get himself to game day and be as productive as any wide receiver available right now.
Evan, I want to talk to you about this running back battle because it's really honestly a lot of fun. You get Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, who is dealing with an injury right now, and then Matt Breida coming over from the Dolphins. Now, Singletary had a great preseason game on Friday. Zach Moss saying about Singletary, I like this. He said, if he's the starting running back and we win the Super Bowl, that's fine. If I'm the starting running back and we win the Super Bowl, that is fine too. How is this battle looking, and any idea at the pecking order right now?
Well, I would think it would be Singletary is still your lead back at this point based off of availability. And he's proven it, too. I mean, a couple years ago, coming out as a rookie, he's shown the dynamic ability as that two-way back, a guy that can get you the yards in between the tackles but is still good out of the backfield in the passing game. And I think that's ideally the role he would have in this offense. Because, Amanda, let's be real. I mean, this is a pass-first offense when you have players like Stefon Diggs, Cole Beasley, now Emmanuel Sanders. They want the running game to be effective because you have to have have some balance in there. But this isn't a situation where they're looking to Zach Moss or Singletary to produce at a Pro Bowl, All-Pro level, because they just won't get that many carries. But they need to be effective, they need to be healthy, and they need to be there to close out games, because the Bills had the lead in a number of games over the course of last season where they love to be able to rely on that running game to run out the clock.
That game was a lot of fun for the Bills against the Lions. Greg Rousseau, of course, they selected him in the first round, 30th overall. He got his first NFL preseason sack. I love that he had to go through Penei Sewell to do it. That is so much fun there. Now, McDermott has said they were very intentional about improving their pass rush this offseason. How good is Greg Rousseau looking right now?
We looked great in that preseason game, and you're right, Amanda. I mean, pass rush, pass rush, pass rush. That's all I heard here, talking to Sean McDermott prior to practice, general manager Brandon Beane. I mean, they've invested a lot of draft capital into that position. The last 3 drafts, their top pick has been across that defensive front, and this year it was their top 2 picks, as you mentioned, Greg Rousseau and then Carlos Basham as well. And they both are guys that fit the mold of this defensive line, where they can play all across the line, because they're almost like positionless up front there, because they have so many pieces, they have so much depth, they can run guys in and out, and that's ideally what they'll do, because they want to get a pass rush with 4. It's how they run defense here with the Bills under Sean McDermott and Leslie Frazier. They need just 4 to get the pass rush, and then they rely on that back end to make plays. So it's a good start for Rousseau, no doubt.
Let's look at the Bills as a whole this upcoming season. Of course, the last time we saw them was against the Chiefs in the AFC Conference Championship. We will all remember Stefon Diggs just standing on the field by himself, staring into the abyss, wondering what could have happened. So their win total right now is set at 11. They do have the second best odds to win the AFC at plus 600. They're the 3rd favorite to win the Super Bowl behind the Chiefs and the Bucs. What's your prediction for the Buffalo Bills this season?
I mean, I feel very good about what Buffalo can do this year in terms of trying to claw their way back to a title game and maybe get over the hump. And I thought something Josh Allen brought up was something I hadn't really thought about when we spoke after practice. When talking about last year, what can you take, if anything, from that experience? And he said, we got to have a home game. They want to play the playoffs at the Bills Stadium, which is right next door to us here, because the fan base will be back in the stands, number one. And they realized on the road, even with a partial stadium there in Arrowhead, that it affected the way they played that game. So, look, they acknowledge that it's not going to just be a re-rack situation. They've got to build it back up. But they know they want to play as many games in the postseason in their backyard here in Orchard Park. And I think they are capable of doing that. It's a long year. Health is so critical. I've already talked about a couple key guys like Stefon Diggs being banged up. But if this team can stay healthy, there's no reason they can't get back and get to a Super Bowl based off of the roster depth they have, the continuity from staff and through the roster. That really gives you a luxury as you head into the season.
Evan Washburn, have fun out there. It is my personal bucket list to tailgate with Bills Mafia at some point. So if you could find me an inn, I would appreciate that. Enjoy your time out there.
I'll make some calls.
Thank you. I just from a safe distance though. No folding tables, just from a safe distance. Evan Washburn joining us live here on CBS Sports HQ to talk about the Bills this upcoming season. We are still on your NFL training camp tour here on CBS Sports HQ. We're hearing from Evan there with the Bills. We'll bring you that Josh Allen interview here shortly. We've got 2 people, Pete Prisco and Bryant McFadden, with the Vikings today. It has been very entertaining to say the least. And then on Tuesday, tomorrow, we will visit the Patriots.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.